My pregnant girlfriend lied about job, family, stole thousands, faked part of pregnancy. I kicked her out despite pleas. Hey Reddit. I never thought I would be posting something like this. Certainly not on a subreddit like r relationship advice or maybe even r/am I the asshole. But life throws curveballs, and mine feels more like a wrecking ball right now. I am Daniel, 30 male, and until very recently I was happily living with my girlfriend Mia, 28 female. We had been together for about 2 years, living together for one, and things seemed perfect. We met back in early 2022 through mutual friends, hit it off immediately, and fell into that comfortable, loving rhythm pretty quickly. Mia was charming, intelligent, funny, and seemed genuinely kind. She worked, or so I thought, in marketing for a tech startup. She talked about demanding projects, difficult colleagues, and the usual office drama. I work as a software engineer, pretty stable job, decent income, nothing too flashy but comfortable. About 6 months ago, Mia told me she was pregnant. It was unexpected, we had not planned it, but after the initial shock, we were both genuinely thrilled. I mean, really excited. We started planning immediately. We talked baby names, nursery colors, parenting styles. We looked at bigger apartments, though decided to stay put for the first year to save money. My family loved Mia. Her parents, whom I had only met a couple of times via video calls as they supposedly lived abroad, seemed warm and supportive. Everything pointed towards a happy future, building a family together. Or so I thought. The first crack appeared subtly, almost imperceptibly. It was around 3 months ago, maybe late last year. Mia started getting cagey about work. Vague answers about her projects, fewer specific stories about her coworkers. She mentioned working from home more often, which made sense in the tech world, so I did not think much of it. But then financial things started feeling off, little discrepancies. She would borrow money for groceries, saying she forgot her wallet, more often than usual. She asked for help covering her share of the rent 1 month, claiming a payroll issue at her startup. I covered it, no questions asked, because you support your partner, right? Especially when she is pregnant with your child. But the payroll issue seemed to drag on. Then came larger requests. Money for alleged medical copays related to the pregnancy that seemed higher than my insurance plan should have allowed. Help with a car repair bill. An urgent need for funds to help her parents with a supposed emergency overseas. Each time, there was a plausible story, an emotional plea, and I, wanting to be the supportive partner, helped out. Looking back, the amounts were adding up significantly, probably well over $10,000 over just a couple of months. I am not stupid, Reddit, but I was blinded by love and the excitement of becoming a dad. I trusted her implicitly. The real unraveling started about 6 weeks ago. I came home early from work one afternoon, feeling unwell. Mia was supposed to be working from home. I walked in quietly, hoping not to disturb her if she was on a call. Instead, I found her lounging on the sofa, watching reality television, dressed in pajamas. Not a laptop in sight. When she saw me, she jumped, startled, and quickly invented a story about feeling faint due to the pregnancy and taking an early break. It felt rehearsed, unsettling. That night I could not shake the weird feeling. I did something I am not proud of, but desperation was setting in. I looked at her phone when she was asleep. I know, violation of privacy, huge breach of trust. But my gut was screaming that something was fundamentally wrong. I did not look through messages initially. I just checked her recent calls and location history. There were no calls to or from anyone listed as work colleagues in months. Her location history showed frequent trips during supposed work hours to shopping malls, cafes, and sometimes an unfamiliar residential address across town. Definitely not the location of her tech startup office, which she occasionally claimed she still had to visit. My stomach churned. What was going on? Was she having an affair? Was she even employed? The next day, while she was out for one of her mysterious errands, I decided to do some digging online. I searched for the tech startup she claimed to work for. It existed, yes. But when I searched for her name on their company website or even LinkedIn, there was nothing. No employee profile, no mention of her in any press releases or team photos. I even tried variations of her name, still nothing. It was like she had never worked there. My heart started pounding. I felt sick. I went through our shared finances, bank statements, credit card bills. That is when I saw the full extent of the money I had given her and the pattern of her spending. Large withdrawals, online shopping sprees, payments to accounts I did not recognize. The $10,000 was probably a conservative estimate. It was likely closer to $15,000. The money for her parents' emergency. It seemed to correspond with a large payment to a luxury brand website. The car repair matched a weekend spa getaway booked under her name a few weeks prior. I felt like an absolute fool, a complete idiot. How could I have missed this? How could she lie so easily, so comprehensively? But the worst was yet to come. Driven by a horrible suspicion, I looked through her recent online purchases more closely. There were orders for baby clothes, nursery items, things we had talked about buying together. But interspersed with those were orders that made no sense. I found receipts for things like prosthetic belly bumps of varying sizes, ordered over the past few months. Fake bumps. Why would a pregnant woman need fake belly bumps? The realization hit me like a physical blow. Was the pregnancy even real? Or was it just the biggest, most manipulative lie of all? My mind raced back through the past 6 months. Her initial reluctance to let me come to the very first doctor appointments, citing COVID restrictions that seemed overly strict even then. Her insistence on seeing a specific midwife practice far from our neighborhood, making joint appointments difficult to schedule with my work. The ultrasounds she showed me, always printouts, never digital copies she could forward. Could those have been fake too? It seemed insane, but the evidence was piling up. I confronted her that evening. I did not yell, I did not scream. I felt numb, hollowed out. I laid out the evidence calmly. The work lies, the financial discrepancies, the fake belly receipts. I just asked her, why Mia? Why do all this? Her reaction was not what I expected. There were no immediate tears, no frantic denials at first. She just stared at me, her face pale. Then came the waterworks, the dramatic sobbing, the pleas for forgiveness. She admitted she had lost her job months ago, just before she found out she was pregnant, and was too ashamed to tell me. She confessed to the financial lies, saying she felt trapped and desperate. But she swore, absolutely swore, the pregnancy was real. She claimed the fake bumps were from early on, before she was really showing, because she felt insecure and wanted to look more convincingly pregnant sooner for some reason, which sounded completely illogical. She begged me not to leave her, saying she needed me, that the baby needed me. She clutched her stomach, which did look genuinely round at this point, though the discovery of the fake bumps made me question everything I saw. Her explanation for the fake bumps felt incredibly weak. Why buy multiple sizes? Why continue buying them even recently if she was genuinely showing? And losing her job did not explain lying about her parents needing money or her background, things I started questioning too. I had never met her family in person, only those brief video calls with people who could have been anyone. Her stories about her childhood often had inconsistencies I had previously brushed off. I asked her to show me proof of the pregnancy. A recent doctor's report, an appointment confirmation, anything. She became defensive, angry even. She accused me of being cruel, of not trusting her during the most vulnerable time of her life. She said I was punishing her for the money lies by questioning the baby. It was masterful manipulation, turning herself into the victim. But the trust was not just broken, Reddit, it was obliterated, pulverized into dust. Every memory of the past 2 years felt tainted. Every loving gesture, every shared dream, now seemed like part of an elaborate performance. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I was building a life with, was a stranger, a con artist who had targeted me. The pregnancy, real or not, felt like the final, cruelest tool in her manipulation kit. I told her I could not do this anymore. I could not live with the constant doubt, the feeling of being played. I told her she needed to leave. That is when the real meltdown began. Screaming, crying, begging, threats. She reminded me she was pregnant, carrying my child, and asked how I could throw her out on the street. She said I was abandoning my responsibility. She accused me of being a monster. This was the hardest part. The thought of potentially abandoning my child, if the child was indeed mine and the pregnancy real, tore me apart. But the foundation of our relationship was gone. It was built on quicksand. How could we raise a child together when there was zero trust? How could I subject a child to a life with a mother who was a compulsive liar and manipulator? What kind of life would that be for any of us? So, I stood firm. I packed her bags for her. I told her she could stay with friends or family. She claimed she had nowhere to go, that her friends were really just acquaintances, and her family situation was complicated, another lie likely. I gave her some cash, enough for a few nights in a hotel, and called a cab. Watching her leave, pregnant belly and all, sobbing on my doorstep, was the most gut-wrenching moment of my life. I felt like the biggest piece of shit on the planet. The apartment feels impossibly empty now. Silent. Every baby item we had started accumulating feels like a mockery. My family and friends are shocked, supportive of me, but also worried about the baby. Some think I was too harsh kicking her out while pregnant, regardless of her lies. Others say I did the only thing I could do to protect myself. I have spent the last few days in a daze. I have changed the locks. I started looking into legal advice regarding paternity testing and potential parental rights and responsibilities if the pregnancy is confirmed and the baby is mine. It is a legal minefield I am not prepared for. I also started documenting all the financial deceit, compiling bank statements and messages. It feels clinical, cold, but necessary. Mia has been bombarding me with calls and texts, alternating between tearful apologies, angry accusations, and desperate pleas to take her back. She sent me a picture of a recent ultrasound, claiming it was proof. But honestly, after the fake belly discovery, I cannot even trust that. It could be anyone's ultrasound. It could be old. My trust is completely shattered. I keep replaying everything in my head. Were there earlier signs I missed? Was I naive? Stupid? Probably, but I loved her, or at least I loved the person I thought she was. The betrayal cuts deeper than the financial loss. It is the emotional manipulation, the exploitation of my trust and my desire for a family. So, Reddit, here I am. Did I go too far kicking out my pregnant girlfriend, even after discovering her monumental deception? Was there another way? Am I the asshole for leaving her potentially homeless while she is carrying what might be my child, because I simply could not stomach living with the lies anymore? I feel lost and honestly just broken. What should I do now? AITAH. Update 1. Wow, okay. First off, thank you all so much for the overwhelming response. I posted my story late last night, feeling completely wrecked, and woke up to hundreds of comments and messages. Reading through them, the vast majority supporting my decision has been incredibly validating. It does not make the situation less painful, but it helps me feel less like a monster. Many of you shared similar experiences or pointed out red flags I definitely minimized. Thank you for the honesty and the support. It means more than you know. A lot of you urged me to get legal counsel immediately, focus on confirming the pregnancy and paternity, and maintain strict boundaries with Mia. That is exactly what I have been trying to do. I had my first consultation with a family lawyer yesterday afternoon. It was sobering. We discussed the complexities, the need for definitive proof of pregnancy from a verifiable medical source, and the process for establishing paternity after the birth if it comes to that. My lawyer advised me to cease all direct communication with Mia and let all contact go through him. He also suggested documenting every interaction attempt she makes. Regarding the pregnancy itself, the lawyer reinforced my suspicions about the ultrasound picture she sent. He said it is unfortunately common for questionable images to be used in these situations, and emphasized getting independent verification. He is helping draft a formal letter requesting access to medical records or agreement for an independent examination, though he warned she is unlikely to comply willingly if she is hiding something. Several people asked about the money. My lawyer also connected me with resources to potentially pursue legal action regarding the financial deception, possibly fraud, but advised focusing on the immediate paternity and pregnancy issues first. Recovering the money feels secondary right now, honestly. The emotional damage is the main thing, though the thought of her using my dream of a family to fund her lifestyle makes me sick. As for Mia, she has not stopped trying to contact me. Texts, calls, emails, even a message through my sister. It is a barrage of guilt trips, love bombing, and accusations. Stuff like, how could you sleep at night knowing your pregnant girlfriend is alone? And our baby deserves a father, Daniel, don't do this to us. And then, I love you more than anything, we can fix this. It is emotionally exhausting, and per my lawyer's advice, I have not responded directly. I blocked her number, but she keeps finding ways, using different apps or temporary numbers. It feels like harassment. Someone in the comments mentioned the possibility of her faking the entire pregnancy. The fake bumps obviously point heavily in that direction. While she does look pregnant now, some commenters shared stories of women who used prosthetics consistently or had medical conditions causing abdominal swelling. It sounds wild, but after everything else, I cannot rule it out. The lawyer said demanding medical proof is the only way forward on that front. Until then, it is a painful uncertainty. The revenge part people are talking about. Honestly, my main goal right now is protection and truth. Protecting myself emotionally, legally, and financially. finding out the truth about the pregnancy and paternity. If exposing her lies and ensuring she faces consequences for potential fraud is part of that process, then so be it. It is not about vengeance for me, it is about justice and self-preservation. It is about ensuring she cannot do this to anyone else. My lawyer mentioned that if fraud is proven, it could have significant legal repercussions for her, which feels like a natural consequence she earned. Seeing your comments, especially from people who escaped similar toxic situations, gives me strength. Knowing I am not alone and that prioritizing my sanity and well-being is not selfish helps immensely. I will keep focusing on the legal steps, maintaining no contact, and trying to piece my life back together. This community, seriously, you have been a lifeline. Thank you. I will post another update when there are significant developments. Update 2. Hello again, Reddit. It has been a few months since my last update, and things have certainly developed. Thanks again for the continued support and messages. Navigating this mess has been easier knowing strangers on the internet have my back, which is weirdly comforting. The journey since kicking Mia out has been a roller coaster, but I finally have some closure, and dare I say it, a positive path forward. So the biggest question everyone had, was the pregnancy real? The answer, unfortunately, is complicated and even more messed up than I initially thought. After weeks of Mia refusing any verifiable medical confirmation and only communicating through increasingly erratic messages, which my lawyer meticulously documented, we pursued legal avenues to compel testing. Faced with a potential court order, Mia finally revealed the truth, though not directly to me. She confessed to her own court-appointed legal aid that, while she was initially pregnant when she told me, she had sadly miscarried very early on, around the time she supposedly lost her job. Instead of telling me, she decided to fake the rest of the pregnancy. That is where the prosthetic bumps came in. She admitted she bought them to maintain the illusion, hoping it would keep me financially supporting her and prevent me from leaving her after she lost her job and started the financial lies. She planned to eventually fake a late-term miscarriage or stillbirth closer to the supposed due date. Hearing this confirmation felt like another gut punch. To use a real, lost pregnancy as the foundation for such a long and elaborate deception is beyond cruel. It is pathological. The financial aspect also progressed. With Mia's confession about the faked pregnancy timeline, the case for fraud became much stronger. My lawyer compiled all the evidence. The bank statements showing money transfers for fake emergencies, the receipts for luxury goods instead of parental needs, the prosthetic belly purchases, her admission of faking the pregnancy duration. We presented this to the authorities. While criminal charges take time, the evidence was compelling enough that Mia is facing serious investigation for fraud and potentially other charges related to deception. The sums involved were significant enough to warrant felony consideration. This is not about me getting the money back anymore, though my lawyer is pursuing civil action for that too. It is about consequences. She built a relationship, a supposed future family, on lies designed to exploit me financially and emotionally. That needs to be addressed. The revenge here, as some might call it, is simply the legal system doing its job. Her own actions led her here. By trying to trap me with a fake pregnancy and bleed me dry, she created a situation where exposure was inevitable. My revenge was refusing to be her victim anymore, seeking the truth, and letting the consequences fall where they may. Seeing her finally face accountability for the web of lies she spun feels like justice. It feels like the natural outcome of her destructive choices. What about Mia now? From what little I know through legal channels, she is not doing well. Facing potential charges, with her support system non-existent, turns out her family abroad was another fabrication. Her real family lives a few states away and has been estranged for years due to similar manipulative behavior. She is reportedly struggling significantly. Do I feel sympathy? Honestly, very little. My empathy is reserved for the person I thought she was, not the calculating manipulator she revealed herself to be. I feel pity perhaps for someone so broken they resort to such measures, but not enough to let her back into my life in any capacity. And me, I am doing okay. Better than okay, actually. Getting the truth, even though it was ugly, was liberating. It closed the door on the uncertainty and allowed me to start healing. I have been focusing on myself, spending time with supportive friends and family, throwing myself into work and hobbies. I started therapy to unpack the manipulation and trust issues this whole ordeal created, which has been incredibly helpful. The apartment does not feel haunted anymore. It feels like my space again. I got rid of everything that reminded me of her, including the baby stuff, which was painful but necessary. I'm not ready to date again yet, the scars are still fresh. But for the first time in months, I feel optimistic about the future. I survived a nightmare scenario, uncovered the truth, protected myself, and am moving towards a healthier place. The whole situation was horrific, a violation of trust on almost every conceivable level. Kicking her out, even with the initial uncertainty about the pregnancy, was absolutely the right decision. It was the first step in reclaiming my life from the vortex of her lies. So, Reddit, I guess this is the final chapter for now. I dodged a bullet, albeit a very expensive and emotionally damaging one. My life was turned upside down by someone I loved, who used the prospect of a family to manipulate and defraud me. But I am out now. I am healing. And I have learned some incredibly harsh lessons about trust and red flags. Thank you all again for listening and for the advice. It genuinely helped me navigate the darkest period of my life. I'm no longer asking AITAH because I know I am not. I did what I had to do. And for anyone going through something similar, trust your gut, document everything, get legal help, and know that choosing yourself is never the wrong decision. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.